tries to duck in the hole right there, but Mark's got an awesome lead going into one.
Musgrave covers the spot on the bottom for second place.
Now, the speed these cars run here, a lot like at Daytona, the draft will come into play. And look at them, they're already trying to go 3 wide. That's Angelelli and the thing
4 wide. That didn't take long. Wow.
And remember, Max Angelelli in that 10 car making his first appearance in a stock car in an oval.
Truex got into Max Pappas entering turn 3.
He threw a roadblock right in the middle of the back straightaway that really jammed everybody up. Everybody recovered nicely and just go right along. And Mark Martin leads the first lap.
Hornish pushing Martin Truex. Kenseth on the outside.
And Mike, that's what those two guys have got to do right now. They've got to fight as hard as they can right now while their tires are fresh to make as much ground as possible, I think, before everybody drops into a single file line in the next couple laps. I think you're going to see it.
Kinser trying to come down. Finds just enough room there in front of Scott Sharp in 08.
Frank Kimmel got just a little bit loose back there in that 46 car of his.
Ryan Newman in the 12 car there. He's trying to get to the bottom, but they're ganged up on the bottom side below it.
A very windy afternoon here in Texas. A lot of tents and canopies blown over, and our camera's blowing around a bit on the roof.
And that wind came up, I mean, all of a sudden, right at the end of Nextel Cup qualifying, it just, all of a sudden, it just jumped out of nowhere.
Sharp to the inside in the gold car. Jumps to 4th.
Great move right there by Scott.
And maybe 3rd.
Got a good run coming off turn 2 down that backstretch. Now we're seeing Ted Musgrave in that 1 car. He's pulled up to the rear bumper of Mark Martin in the 6 car, up in 2nd spot. 3 wide back there. And look at Kenseth in the 17. You talked about it, Jeff. He's trying to get all he can early.
He got a car problem on the wall up high.
The Truex.
That could have been Angelelli, I think, Mike.
I think it is Mark Truex.
Look on the inside. We're 2 wide, almost 3 wide, into 3.
Boy, Kenseth had the measure of Scott Sharp right there.
Oh, he lost his way right to the inside here. I mean, it's a great run right there from the back of the pack by Matt Kenseth in that yellow and white number 17.
The car that went to the back was Truex. He's now trying to regain lost ground after climbing the hill in turn 1 last time by.
I mean, that was as close as you want to come to knocking the wall down and not get a piece of it by Truex Jr. right there up over in 1 and 2.
Kinser on the inside now. Not much help as he has Stewart alongside.
But I think what's happening, starting there pretty much in the Ryan Newman, Matt Kenseth area, they're starting to try to get single file, because if they don't, Mark Martin in the 6, Ted Musgrave in the 1, they're just going to continue to pull away from this group.
And Larry, something else. Back there working your car as hard as you do it back in traffic, it's really playing into Ted Musgrave's and Mark Martin's hands, because they're out there just playing follow the leader real easy on the wheel. So later on in this run, they'll have a little bit left on their tires compared to maybe Matt Kenseth or Ryan Newman.
But I'm going to tell you what, as I'm seeing that group from about 3rd to 7th getting single file, they are running those 2 guys down in a hurry. Right here we're riding with Martin Truex Jr. in the 8 car, fighting there for the last position.
Battling Max Angelelli, 4-10. Mark Martin out in front of round 2 in Crown Royal IROC 30.
Larry, Mark Martin and Ted Musgrave, they haven't been able to open up any more distance. Actually, the big pack has kind of caught up to them.
Yeah, Ryan Newman in the 12, Matt Kenseth in the 17. They pulled right up to the rear bump of Ted Musgrave. And remember, Mark Martin came in here last in points, bonus points, because the most laps led, 5, 3, and 2, those 5 points could be pretty important to Mark Martin, who came in here last in points.
Tony Stewart has just moved to 5th from Max Pappas. He did it in the back straightaway last time by. 14 laps complete. Challenge is for 2nd place. Up the hill goes Musgrave, and here comes Newman.
And Ryan Newman in the 12 just got that nose under Musgrave. There comes Kenseth in the 17. Remember, he started this race in last.
To the inside right there, but the last time by, guys, back in 5th place, Tony Stewart ran the fastest lap, and he's starting to make his presence known as he's working his way right in behind this whole group, trying to figure out whether he wants to push Musgrave. He's trying to push Musgrave by Kenseth down the front straightaway.
Right next to him is Matt Kenseth on the left. Tony on the high side, and there goes Kenseth.
Tony's going to try to Newman's going to shut the door on him right there, almost 3 wide off of turn 2.
And that was Max Pappas trying to go there 3 wide again down the back stretch. Somebody's got to give.
Guys, this ain't Daytona, it's Texas.
Yeah, not almost. They were 3 wide, and Scott Sharp pushed Pappas, gave him the shove he needed to get by the 20 of Tony Stewart. They both passed Stewart. And Truex is right up there with him, behind the 10 of Angelilli in his first IROC start.
Up
holding
there
his
battling
own.
to get in the top 5.
And you know what they call him over there and over here also? Max the Axe.
Ooh.
So you better be watching out for the 10 car. He doesn't cut anybody any slack.
Stewart on the outside trying to come back. Angelilli on the inside. Angelilli and Wayne Taylor, co-champions, teammates, and they will share this ride, each doing 2 races in IROC this year. First time we've seen that in the format.
And for Ted Musgrave in the 1 car, he went from 2nd to 9th in about 2.5 laps. They just kicked him out of the pack.
And like I said, Larry, you know, you would think that we were at Daytona the way these guys are shuffling around and getting drop kicked back and forward. You just don't know what's going to happen. Again, it goes almost 3 wide down the back straightaway. And Tony Stewart's got his hands full with the 10 car of Angelilli.
And normally we see Tony Stewart in the 20 in every race car he drives, working the bottom. He's been working that high groove this entire race.
Nobody will let him get to the bottom. Matt?
Well, Mike, one thing that was very apparent in IROC practice this week, if you're running side by side, you're 3/10 on the stopwatch slower than if cars are running single file in front. So these guys know they can't run side by side for long, or like what you're seeing here, Scott Sharp slowly inching away from Stewart and Max.
Boy,
Yeah.
Max, look at the right fender of Max. If Tony can get a little more clearance on him. A lot of damage, a lot of tire marks on the right rear of Angelilli's number 10.
And I think that happened
There it is.
basically on the first lap of the race.
Stewart finally gets around and clears Angelilli, and he brings Martin Truex Jr. with him, trying to work that high side and get by the 10 car.
You need somebody to dance with here, but you have no friends. There is Jay Signori, president of IROC. Mark Martin from the pole, out in front. As you watch Tony Stewart wave him on to the inside, we'll remind you that tomorrow night on Speed, the Rolex Sports Car Series returns. Team Ganassi looks to continue its dominance as the series rolls into Long Beach for the first time ever. Don't miss it, 9 p.m. Eastern on Speed.
Jeff, I want you to notice we're riding with Tony Stewart, especially on the straightaways. He keeps checking those mirrors. Remember, these guys, unlike when they're in their Nextel Cup of Busch cars, they don't have the luxury of a spotter.
No, they've got a mirror on the left side. He looks out. He was checking it earlier when he's trying to make the pass. And again, you're looking from time to time. He'd be looking up right in this area. This is the mirror here. He's looking for the rear view mirror to make sure where everybody else is in proximity around him. And Larry, he's working out Will pretty hard down low right now as he's finally gotten to the bottom of the racetrack really for the first time today.
Second place battle. Kenseth wants it from Ryan Newman.
And guys, I don't mind telling you right now, I am surprised of seeing Matt Kenseth up here at this point of this race. He's running so strong. I mean, that's such an impressive run, starting way back in the back and making his move all the way to the front to second place.
He's going to get a run on the high side. Looks like with a little help from Ryan Newman in that 12 car. Mark Martin puts the fly, but he does the crossover move. And they're going to kick Mark Martin to the high side.
Through Mark the dummy by going to the outside and then crossed over and dropped it to the bottom and took the lead.
And he may lose another position, and right there, you
Right
can see Ryan Newman in the 12 waving that hand. Come on, come on.
Come on, Pappas, Mad Max. Come on, baby, push me.
That was a textbook pass right there. Matt Kenseth pulled on his Nextel Cup teammate, Mark Martin.
Now, what do you think Max Pappas right now, running third, is thinking after watching what went on in front of him?
Yippee.
Woohoo! You guys open the door, I'll follow.
That's exactly right. Follow the leader, and I'm with you, boys.
So it's Kenseth with Newman, Pappas, Mark Martin, and here's Tony Stewart moving on Martin for fourth.
And he is not done now inside of Mark Martin, making the pass easily right there going into turn 3. It's almost like something has happened to Mark's car, Larry.
And remember, Max Pappas in that 16 car at Daytona, he played it smart. He played it conservative, and you know what? He ended up finishing fourth.
It's almost like since they've shoved Mark to the outside, his car has quit working. He can't get back to the bottom, and they're just all going right by him, just like what happened to Musgrave.
Well, if his car was a little tight, shoving the nose, it was fine out there in clean air, but now he's back there in traffic, probably to push the front end slide in his work.
Scott Sharp made the pass on Mark for fifth. You're riding with Martin Truex, who could not clear Mark and drops in line in seventh.
But Larry, if what you're saying is true about Mark's car, he'll be easy picking. Somebody will work to the outside of him again because back there in traffic, He needs that clean air to keep the front end hooked up.
Speaking of the outside, Tony Stewart, that 20 car, he just drives by Max Pappas in the 16 on the outside. He'll go to third place.
Now here comes Scott Sharp to the outside, trying to bring, is that Truex back with him? Mark Martin led the first 25 laps. Kenseth has been out in front for 3.
And you got to believe these cars are starting to slide around. You heard Matt Yoakum talk about it. We're about halfway through this run, about 18 laps to go to that competition caution. So these cars definitely are not driving as good as they were when this race started on those fresh tires.
So now it's Pappas who's been kicked out of line, but to the bottom side, and he drops 5 spots.
And guys, I want to make one point to you right now. When you take a look at what's going on here, 2 of the guys that went to the back of the pack, Tony Stewart and Matt Kenseth, are up there running first and third, and Ryan Newman is the only guy so far that's been able to hang on. He started on the front row.
Matt?
Max told me in the drivers meeting earlier today, he said, Dave Marcus, the IROC test driver, told me, the white line on the bottom is your friend. Don't get off the bottom and you'll be all right. And he's stuck with that strategy, but he's paid the price, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, you want to protect the bottom, Matt, but remember what they did to Mark. They ganged up on him and looked like they were going to go to the high side. He went to block him. He gave up the bottom.
But for whatever reason, guys, this is not the same racetrack and the same IROC run we've seen the previous 2 years where the bottom was exactly where you had to be and the only place. Right now, the outside, if you got a car and got a little bit of help, you can make a move and you can make a pass.
Got to get help and you got to get a run. It is Matt Kenseth and Ryan Newman, first and second. Tony Stewart, Scott Sharp, and Mark Martin, the front 5 after 30 laps. And a half.
And oh, by the way, did we mention that Mark Martin has now fought his way back to 4th?
Kenseth gets a run off turn 2, side by side down the back stretch. He's going to take the lead going off into 3. Looks like Stewart will fight his way back, though, on the high side.
But don't look now, Larry. Here comes his buddy right now. Mark Martin is closing the back up on the back bumper of the 17 of Kenseth, and he may be able to help him clear Tony Stewart off of 4.
Neither groove seems to have an advantage as Martin pushes Kenseth back into the lead and Stewart drops in 3rd. Once again, due to high winds, we've locked down the rooftop cameras. We're showing you this entire IROC event from the onboards and the robotic cameras down at track level around the racetrack. Hope you're enjoying this ground level show.
Well, we've definitely got you down in the trenches right now, Mike. As Tony Stewart goes to the outside of Mark Martin one more time off of turn 4. Let's see if he can complete the pass. He needs a little bit of help. Nobody cuts right across the nose of Mark Martin. Closes up on the back bumper of the 17 of Kenseth.
And Ryan Newman, the 12, gave Mark Martin a heck of a shove in that 6 car up into the 3rd position. And there's no way with 9 to go I can tell who's going to get these bonus points of 5, 3, and 2 for leading the laps.
But it costs the 12 of Newman. Now he has to battle the 8 of Truex. But Truex is dropping back as Hornish gives Newman a push right back up with the top 3.
And here comes Stewart back on the high side again, coming off turn 4, side by side.
This is why leading is so important. When we get to lap 47, that's 8 laps away. And this whole series is about points. There's no payoff for the individual races, just at the end of the rainbow.
And I think Sam Hornish summed it up best. For $1 million, this is what it's all about right now. Everybody's pushing, shoving, slicing, dicing. It doesn't make any difference. You've got to figure out a way to get up front.
Yeah, $1 million to win the championship. 2nd through 12th, a thank you note with $80,000.
Not much to get excited about for second, is there?
Considering first is $1 million.
Yeah, 80,000 is a rounding error on some of these fellas' checkbooks. Martin Truex has to breathe the car to keep from getting in the back of Sam Hornish, and he's got to deal with Max Angelelli alongside.
And Truex Jr. in this 8 car, he's definitely been one of the comers, goers, and comers. I mean, he's been back and forth through the field this entire 40 laps of this race so far.
And again, I don't think we can say enough about Max the Axe, the number 10 car. He just keeps hanging right in there with these guys, just like a true veteran.
And what Tony Stewart is loving right now, Matt Yoakum was talking about it, all the cars behind him are side by side. They're going to have to get lined up if they want to catch him.
Oh, big log jam coming off turn 2, and this is right, the eye of the storm right here. Hornish's car and the 16 of Pappas may be holding up some of these other cars right now.
Yeah, pretty much Tony Stewart's leading with 5 laps to go before that competition caution. Then it looks like the start of the race back there. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. Ryan Newman just can't quite get that run on the high side to clear Matt Kenseth, and they've been door handle to door handle for about the last 3 or 4 laps.
But Larry, what he needs for Hornets to come up. That's what he needs, a little bit of a push, but he needed to give it to Newman, but he got a shot from Truex Jr. instead.
And he got it entering the corner. And
that was not really where you wanted it at, Mike.
Well, but that allowed Truex then to move to the outside and alongside to try to pass Hornish. It was not intended to help Sam.
Definitely not.
But while these guys are doing that, they're giving up 2 to 3 tenths a lap to our leader, Tony Stewart. You can see how much of a lead he's built up.
And Larry, did you see Hornish's car off of turn 2 right there? It picked up that push he talked about. He had to get out of it, and everybody had to check up behind him, but he was able to recover real nice.
And what Truex gave him the last lap was that you're holding me up push. And it got him just enough out of the way for Truex to get by. Here's another look at it. Watch the 8 on the outside get up against Hornish going into the corner. Bam, you're holding me up.
Woo. Yeah, you can see it picked the rear of Sam Hornish, the 06 car, up just a little bit.
Little loosey-goosey right there.
Message delivered. Meanwhile, side by side for second, Ryan Newman and Matt Kenseth. And look back of Newman. There's Truex with Mad Max. And Hornish peeking in.
And right now, the only guy that's really loving all this is the number 20 car, Stewart, as he crosses the start-finish line and looks up. He's
three
got
wide, Jeff,
wide.
going off into turn 1. Hornish Jr. in the 06 to the bottom of the racetrack.
And Pappas had to let him go. He had no choice. Going in there 3 wide at this stage on worn tires and low fuel would not be a great move. 2 to go to the competition caution.
And right now, guys, again, Tony Stewart's got a big enough lead. Even if they line back up, I don't think they can run him down to upset him winning or getting the bonus points as we go to the halfway point or the competition break. The key thing is who's going to wind up getting the remainder of those bonus points.
I think it'll be Kenseth and Newman. I'm just not sure in which order.
But you know the amazing thing, I know Tony Stewart has a heck of a lead, but position 2nd through 11th, separated by less than a second, 46 laps into this race.
So Tony Stewart is going to come around and get the bonus points, the maximum bonus points. Newman will hold on to third rather, behind Kenseth.
Now they will let all the cars complete lap 47 here before they actually display the caution. They'll let them get well out of sight.
So 3-2-1 for Stewart.
I think it kind of makes me want to go back to what Mark Martin said in an earlier interview when he talked to Matt Yoakum. The beating and the banging, it may not be just getting started, folks. I'm pretty sure after what we've seen this first half of this race, it's going to get wild.
Yeah, 20 laps left of Sakatumi time.
Yeah.
Mark Martin trying to come as Cale Yarborough did. Matt told us at the top of the show, from 12th after race 1 to try to win a 6th IROC title.
And before Crown Royal took this series over, it paid $200,000 to win. When they took it over 2 years ago, the purse went to $1 million to win. No money paid on the races, just all about the championship.
And you know what that meant, Larry? Less friends on the racetrack.
You got it.
No friends on the racetrack.
What
you say at Daytona? If you want to watch friends or get friends, watch television.
That's exactly right. Turn it on television. Uh-oh, me.
20 laps to go.
And I think Tony Stewart, the 20, is caught between a rock and a hard place. He knows he has to protect the bottom, but he also knows about that outside line with Matt Kenseth and Martin Truex Jr., especially in the 8 car on the outside.
Stewart's going to have to get some help from Ryan Newman here to hold that lead, and Newman is right close up on him as we go to turn 1.
Oh, we got trouble. Sam Hornish Jr., he didn't get going in the 06 car.
He's okay. Yes.
And the caution is out.
Good save.
Yeah, he did not get going on that restart whatsoever. He restarted on the inside of the 3rd row.
Now the question is, he spun that car. Can he get tires?
I believe you can, Mike. In the interest of safety, I think it would come back in because they just got restarted, so putting tires back on there would not be an advantage for this race car.
Yeah, I believe the rule is the IROC will look at the tires. If they are unsafe, they will allow them to change them. And
he just did not get going, and you saw Max Pappas in the 16 car get in the back of him and spun him around. Yeah, if they indeed have to change tires, they put tires on the car that's comparable to what came off.
So 500-foot tires, because that's about how much green flag he got out of that set.
Exactly. But you can see how much gap had opened up between Ryan Newman and Sam Hornish Jr.
Scott Sharp did a good job of avoiding that, and so did Sam Hornish. He did a good job of controlling the race car and keeping it off that inside wall.
He missed the shift. That's what happened right there. You can hear it.
You could also hear that rev limiter hitting too.
Ryan Newman.
That's what it should sound like right there.
All right. Then we'll listen again to Sam Hornish's restart. Took off right with Tony Stewart, and they protected the bottom. They'll have to try it one more time. Still 20 laps to go. We did not complete a lap under green.
And I would say business will pick up for a lot of reasons. The track is really cooling down. These guys have fresh tires for this 20-lap shootout. Here we go.
And this time Stewart got a really good jump on Kenseth on the outside, and he pulls away, brings Newman right along with him as they head into turn one.
And more importantly, the 8 Martin Truex did not get going with Kenseth.
And they're 3 wide through 1 and 2, Mike.
Fresh tires. Scott Sharp from the top to the bottom.
But look at Mark Martin in this 6 car already up there trying to fight to get back to the lead.
Mad Max trying to rub a little more paint off that fender than number 16. Stewart got away from them high on the outside, trying to break the side draft from Newman, but he's not going forward.
But Newman moved to the outside to protect the outside. Here comes Mark Martin in that 6 car back to the lead.
3 wide second.
Comes Kenseth back on the inside, and Tony Stewart in the middle is battling back.
And Mark Martin loves seeing this behind him because he can get to the bottom and start protecting that bottom.
And Larry, Mark Martin led the first 25 laps out front, and there's only 19 left to go.
So he's working hard to lock up those bonus points for leading the most laps at 5. A bunch of points right there.
How does he do that? He came from 3rd row on the inside and squirts away into the lead.
Because he's Mark Martin, Mike.
That's right. Still 3 wide toward the back. And now just double file.
But boy, what a run Matt Kenseth in that 17 car got going down the back straightaway. He just wants Mark Martin, his teammate, to open that door just ever so slightly. Martin is hugging that white line. He's got to be so impressed with Max Pappas in that 16 car. Only his 2nd year in IROC, and he's driving it like he's been doing it for years. Here comes Stewart on the high side again in the 20 car.
Sparks flew from underneath Stewart's car at turn 2.
You don't think this racetrack is picking up? Matt Kenseth just ran the fastest lap he's run in this race right there.
First 3 are single file, side by side for 4th. Pappas and Truex with help from Angelelli. And Truex moves through for 4th place. 1 car out of the race, Sam Hornish. He's with Matt.
Sam, you debriefed with the IROC crew. What happened with the transmission?
Not really sure. Shifted to 3rd, went about 100 feet, and then everything started coming apart. And then I was trying to get out of the other guys' way and got spun around. But I was having a lot of fun out there racing with those guys, and moved my way up from the back, and it looked like we probably could have got a good finish, but next time.
Very gusty here on pit road. How is it on the racetrack?
It's a bit tough to tell. I think it loosens the cars up a little bit when you get to the outside. You get a lot of air on the car, and it was pretty exciting first couple laps as the tires were coming up to temperature, but I'm sure it was a great show for the fans, though.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
Well, I tell you what, Matt, was a great show for the fans. Max Angelelli up here on the front stretch, 3 wide. He goes all the way to the 3rd place in that 10 car.
And Newman took Kenseth in the backstretch all the way down to the white paint on the inside line.
Boys, business is definitely picking up. And look who's out front right now again. Still Mark Martin being pressured by Martin Truex. Now he's going inside, outside, and Mark keeps blocking him.
And remember, Truex Jr. finished 2nd in the points last year to Mark Martin.
Yeah, Truex roughed up his bumper a bit. Stewart slid up high. Something is scraping on that car, and it's allowed Kenseth to get under, and they're 3 wide going for turn 3.
Look at Mark Martin working that car from the top to the bottom, trying to break the draft on these guys.
It was Newman who took it 3 wide and moves up to 4th.
I'll say it again, guys.
Lilly for 3rd.
3rd, exactly right. 3 wide here on the front straightaway. We're in Texas, guys, not Daytona, but they sure are racing like they are.
There goes Truex Jr. in the 8 car to the high side. He got a run on Mark Martin that time. Can he complete the pass?
No help. Now Angelelli comes up with him and drops even lower.
Says, I'm going to the bottom, guys. 3 wide.
Angelelli, in his first ever IROC start, squeezes up into 2nd.
I'm just not sure he knows any better right here.
He is not scared. And remember, guys, who has won this race in the past? Open wheel guys, not NASCAR boys. And what kind of a surprise would this be if Angelelli can come and pull this thing off? Max the Axe could get it done.
You know what Darrell will tell you? He doesn't know what he can't do with that car because he's never done it before.
Exactly.
Did that make sense?
Absolutely.
What you don't know, you don't know, right? Man. They have kicked Tony Stewart all the way back to 6th, and Sharp is trying to put him back in another position.
Now, you think that surprised Mark having Angelelli slip up the inside on him like that?
Where'd he come from? Where'd he come from?
You gotta love it. Truex, the Busch Series champion. Angelelli from Grand Am, the Rolex Series. And Mark Martin from Nextel Cup. 10 laps to go, and they come back and will come back. Martin Truex leads in Texas.
I need a breather.
From the 2nd IROC race in a row, Steve Kinzer, King of the Outlaws, has been on his lid.
Good news is, wheels down this time.
Yeah, and he's
What
okay.
a wild ride, guys. I mean, a wild ride coming off of turn 2.
He and Max Pappas involved, and Scott Sharp. Now, Steve's moving around in the car. He's okay, but Pappas's car all torn up at the back, and pretty heavy damage to Scott Sharp as well. The first on-track collision that's put us under caution today.
Yeah, coming off of turn 2, somebody got squeezed up in the outside wall, and once they collected the outside wall, they came back across the racetrack, and the rest of it just kind of was triggered.
So let's show you what happened. I believe the initial contact is Scott Sharp, I believe with Pappas, the number 16. Sharp coming up the track, or on the outside, excuse me, he's on the outside, and it is with Pappas.
There was nowhere for Sharp to go in the 08, and when Pappas comes back across the racetrack, he gets into the 11 car of Kinzer, starts barrel rolling down the backstretch, but fortunately lands on his wheels.
I guarantee you right there, Larry, Kinzer is saying, please get back on your wheels. Please get back on your wheels.
Yeah, that sky they painted on the inside roof of his car was no joke. There it is.
You could almost see Pappas trying to turn the car down there, but the car's just going to the outside.
Now, Steve Kinzer has climbed out of the car. He is okay. Let's show you this in real time.
Kinzer just a victim again in the 11 car.
And also, that was a hard hit to the inside wall for Max Pappas. And for the 2nd IROC race in a row, Steve Kinzer has to make the difficult walk to take the mandatory trip to the care center. Now, Max Pappas has driven his car back to the IROC pits along the front straightaway. See, he is okay. I don't think that car will be doing any more laps tonight.
No. I think he's pretty much done for the evening.
Every corner on it is either tore up, bent.
Looks like it's been at Martinsville.
And just remember, we talked at the top of the show, all of the wreck repair and replacement of cars the IROC guys had to do in the last 6 weeks since Daytona. And we've got several cars tore up again here. They've got a little longer time to prepare them for Daytona, but not what they were looking for to come out of here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was looking at the word IROC, trying to figure out what you can make with it, and kind of came up with the impossible repair of cars. And again, it looks like that's what they're going to have to do. Jason Knorr and his crew are going to have to go back and make some extensive repairs or build some new cars.
So Max is okay. Scott Sharp is going to try to stay in the race, though they have the hood up and they're working on the left side of his car. Matt?
And Max Pappas has climbed from his car. Now, Max, we have the video for you. Walk us through what happened on the racetrack.
That's it.
Waiting for that crash to be queued up. What happened from your vantage point, Max?
I was pushing quite a lot getting out of 2, and you know, I don't know. I can't really see.
Very close quarters racing.
You know, I felt that you know, was very close racing. You know, maybe a little bit too much contact sometimes. I went out of 2. You know, maybe it's my fault. I was really sure. You know, looks like I was coming out and I had a guy right on the side, and maybe it was my fault. I touched him and I went sideways. I went straight into the wall, and after that, you know, let's say, yeah, I think it was Scott Sharp out there, wasn't it?
It was Scott Sharp.
Yeah, it was Scott Sharp on the outside. We need to see it one more time to really understand. You know, it was very close racing, and you know, a little bit of touch here and there, maybe it could have caused that. I need to see.
Well, the good news is everybody has walked away from this crash.
Yeah, unfortunately, Steve went upside down one more time, and you know, it's a shame for the Crown Royal cars, you know, but we're gonna have to see one more time to see it exactly. But it was very close racing. Sometimes, you know, a little touch here and there, maybe it's a little bit too much.
Thanks, Max.
Thanks.
It was Pappas who slid up into Scott Sharp and then came across track into Steve Kinzer. At least 2 of those 3 cars are going to be out of this race. Some laps up as high as 2nd place, and he has now faded to 8th at the moment. And we'll show you a little bit of why from the rear bumper camera of Martin Truex Jr. Watch this 10 car.
That's happening at about 175 to 180 miles per hour. And he gets down on the apron. That's when I got concerned, is right there as he got below them. Because remember, that transition has a difference in banking right there.
Let's license in Daytona. Off the front bumper of Tony Stewart after Stewart got tapped and got up and into Kinzer. A long slide for life on his roof. And just a few minutes ago, more of the same. More aerial acrobatics for the King of the Outlaws, the 20-time champion. This time, got it back on its wheels. But he was as much a passenger as driver in those 2
He's got to be wondering, why me? Why always me?
Suddenly, that sky on the inside roof of his car doesn't seem so funny. Matt?
2nd race in a row, Steve.
I don't know what to say. I mean, was making a little charge up through there then, and wasn't nobody away, and I see Max and him get in the wall, and I went down to the inside, and I thought I had him cleared, and I started bombing all once I felt somebody hit me in the quarter panel and turned me back around.
You're thinking, oh, here we go again?
Well, I really didn't think so. I was going to get on his top again, but there it went again. I don't know what to say. Started a heck of a year, I guess. Let's hope things straighten out a little bit.
The good thing is he walked out of the Info Care Center. Mike?
Well, I'm glad he can laugh about it. Of course, the next IROC race is at a venue totally unfamiliar to Kinzer, the road course at Daytona.
Says a lot, though, for the construction of these IROC cars. I know Mike Laughlin down in Greenville, South Carolina, had a lot to do with the construction of these cars, and says a lot that you can go through 2 crashes like that and be interviewed just about 10 minutes later.
And it says a lot for Steve Kinzer that he can laugh it off, because what choice do you have?
They say big smile on his face still, kind of like, well, what happened? But, you know.
The great thing about IROC restarts, they're all double file. So we've got 9 cars out there. We've got 4 rows of 2, and there at the back, you'll have Frank Kimmel in the 46 car, I guess, trying to watch this thing sort out in front of him with 8 laps to go.
And only green flag laps count.
And Larry, as you like to say so often, you need to pull them belts tight one more time, not to mention pull those gloves up a little bit higher on the elbow.
Real tight.
You got them.
Frank Kimmel made a pit stop under that caution, so he will start tail end. As we're ready to go, 8 laps to finish this off.
Boy, Matt Kenseth in the 17 car got a great restart with help from Mark Martin in that 6 car. Is Mark Martin going to be able to clear Martin Truex Jr.? Meanwhile, Kenseth drives to the bottom of the racetrack.
Larry, I hate to say it, but I'm surprised right now somebody's not saying, well, how in the world did Matt
3 wide
wait for that?
Second place. Stewart on the bottom.
Hey, yeah, they're going to redo. I didn't think they were going to get away with that right here, guys. IROC officials have said, no way we're going to accept that.
Another great thing about IROC, they can afford to restart and say, boys, we're going to try that again.
It's called a do-over.
Short track style.
Short track style, exactly right.
Good try, though.
Now,
Yeah.
if we were at one of these tracks where our careers started, about the second time this happened, the steward would walk out on the track. He would point his flag at a car, and he would take his hand.
Take a look
give
here
it a
at
wrap
Tony
on the
Stewart.
bottom.
Now, he pulls up beside Martin Truex Jr. like, hey, what happened?
Get going.
You know, you need to get going here, buddy. I mean, he kind of pointed at him.
And the steward would make a motion to one of the cars, tail end of the field, for jumping restarts like that.
I saw that at Indy a few years ago.
Yeah, kind of like that. So we'll try it again. That lap did not count. It's a do-over.
Be watching here now, see if Martin Truex Jr. actually has a problem or not. Because again, Tony Stewart is inside his race car giving hand signals back to Ryan Newman like, hey, you better be ready for anything. We've got to go.
Definitely Mark Martin in the 6, he was on his game on that restart.
Oh, yeah.
He was ready. When that yellow car, Matt Kenseth in the 17 went, he went with it.
And remember at Richmond, he won a race on a couple do-overs against another former teammate of his. So Mark knows how to work the restarts.
Well, we'll try it again. 8 laps to go.
Pace car scoots away this time. This looks pretty even. Here we go.
Now it looks like Truex Jr. in the 8 car got going, but Mark Martin in the 6, he is tied to the rear bumper of Matt Kenseth in that 17 car on the outside. I mean, look at those 4 cars. They look like 1 car.
4 cars under a blanket.
And they are all breaking away from that second group right there. All these guys from NASCAR know how to work with one another, and they realize they need to get away from the rest of the field.
Now Kenseth in the 17, he gets to the lead. He'll go to the bottom of the racetrack.
And Larry, I cannot believe how good the outside lane is working today.
But if Kenseth gets to the bottom, there may be no passing him.
But he better get to the bottom in a hurry. There he goes, right in front of Martin Truex Jr. in the 8 car.
Stewart can't get to the outside.
Mikey almost faded out into Mark Martin to kind of prevent him from cutting across his nose.
Now he can
get a better entrance in, I think, turn 1.
Now they've got Mark Martin in the 6 car pinned on the high side. He's going to get passed by Ryan Newman in the 12.
And Newman is waving. Come on, let's go.
Trying to get Ted Musgrave to come on up there and close up on the back door and give him a push.
I guarantee you, Matt Kenseth will not move that car off the bottom. Truex Jr. makes a move to the outside, though, in the 8 car.
Here comes Tony Stewart trying to go to the outside with him.
Daytona do-over is what it looks like.
And remember, this is not for money. It's all about points.
Next time by, 5 to go.
I wouldn't say that, Larry Mack.
Well,
this is for $1 million. Exactly.
Points equal money.
At the end of this thing is money. Tony Stewart on the outside. He's working that outside right along with Truex Jr.
Trying to get a little side suck off of Kenseth there.
And Truex Jr. loves seeing these guys side by side. He'll take the lead. 5 to go.
Woo-hoo. Here comes the train. And it's Stewart leading it. He's got a lot of help with Newman.
And we're riding with Ryan Newman here. This is what it looks like, the front bumper of his car.
Back on the inside. Inside it comes Truex. Back to the inside, Mike.
That outside lane's going to go. And it catapults Stewart back into the lead. 4 laps to go this time.
We have had more lead changes in this race, I think, than some series will have over the course of the entire season.
Stewart leads off of turn 2, but guys, I'm not too sure that he can get far enough away to be able to hold him off here again. Maybe he can, but it'll be interesting to see, because here comes Ryan Newman.
8 times an IROC race winner has started last on the grid. going for 9. 11 lead changes so far. I don't think we're done.
And I'll guarantee you, Tony Stewart in that 20, he's driving out the mirror as much as he is out the windshield. 3 laps to go.
And Kenseth has been kicked back to 6th place, and maybe further.
He knows he's got to protect the outside, but he's got to stay right against that white line on the bottom. 2.5 laps to go.
He can't bind that car up too either down on the bottom where if he does, he'll swing by on the outside and pass him.
Tony Stewart has never won a race at Texas Motor Speedway. He is 2 laps away.
Ryan Newman in that 12 car staying right with him. I'm sure he's waving that right hand off at Martin Truex Jr. in the 8 car behind him.
The guy that I'm watching, guys, is in that number 6 car. He's back there lurking, trying to figure out what these guys up front are going to do. I'm going to go the opposite way. Maybe I can pull off a steal here, get back to victory lane.
Mark Martin is 4th, and I don't think anybody can pass Stewart without a lot of drafting help.
It will have to have help to do it on the outside. He's not going to give the bottom up. White flag.
Newman's going to make the move, guys. He's going to make it pretty quick.
Stewart has 1 IROC victory, 2001 in Michigan.
Truex Jr. in the 8 car, he got a pretty good run off turn 2. He's going to pull right up to the back of Brian Newman in the 12 car. One more set of quarters to get it done, boys.
Newman's going to need some help, though, Larry. He's going to need some help off of turn 4 if he wants to be able to beat Tony Stewart.
Stewart off the bottom, sweeps around, heads for the line, and Tony Stewart is 0-4, no more. Stewart wins in Texas.
From last to first. Woo. Ryan Newman 2nd, Martin Truex Jr. 3rd, Mark Martin 4th, and Matt Kenseth 5th.
Tony Stewart is a winner at last at Texas Motor Speedway.
Speedway, the fence climber has done it yet again. He's got another checkered flag, but the first time he's ever got one here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Smoke, it doesn't get any more exciting than that.
Man, this stuff scares me driving this way, but it's a good race. Knew we had a good car. It's just a matter of getting to the front, and Ryan Newman gave me a really good push to get me by Matt, and got tired of following everybody on the bottom like Daytona. They all want to race on the bottom. Hell with that. I want to race on the top.
And what happened to the car?
I broke the drive shaft, I think, for a U-joint or something, trying to spin the tires in first gear. So it's just parked. It's dead in the water right now.
I was going to say, welcome to Victory Lane at the Texas Motor Speedway for the first time. After being over for so long, you're going to have to walk there.
It's all right. I don't mind walking. I can use it.
Tony Stewart gets his 3rd IROC victory. He won one at Michigan, and he won in 2002 at Daytona International Speedway. Here's the order of finish with Ryan Newman 2nd, Truex 3rd, Mark Martin 4th, and Mark gets the bonus for leading the most laps. Matt Kenseth, and how about Max Angelelli in his first IROC start?
Awesome run right there by him. Nice job.
Yeah, we talked about at the top of the show, Tony Stewart 0 for 13 in Texas. No longer his 0 for, as Matt Yoakum said.
In English, they say he broke his duck's egg, the big, we call it a goose egg. But it's broken now. He's a winner.
Did DW say that?
No.
Some of you, man. Truex 2nd and 3rd, talking about the fun day. So you walked up, you said, I haven't had that much fun in so long.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about, it's like being at the go-kart track with all your buddies, you know, just running into each other or swapping the lead back and forth. It was a lot of fun.
And a big push by you at one point for Stewart.
Yeah, Tony had he looked like he was on the loose side, and I knew my best shot was trying to pick on him, push him up, and then try to be able to have some help to get him loose. But Martin couldn't get close enough to me at the end to give me a push to get back and get Tony loose. But I was wide open all around at the end. I couldn't got no excuse for that one. But it was a blast, like you said. Just great racing. Thank Crown Royal and IROC for all the things they do to give us this opportunity.
And a big points day for Ryan Newman, Mike.
Yes, it was. Newman makes a big move up as we head for the road course in Daytona. He is 3rd in points behind Kenseth and Stewart. I'll tell you, the drive of the day, I thought Max Angelelli, his first IROC start on the last lap, he grabbed 6th place. He was more up and down than the price of Google stock.
He did a great job. I mean, he put on a really good demonstration. I bet you've got a lot of respect, too, from the rest of his competitors. after the good job he did.
He had to finish 6th. His teammate Wayne Taylor finished 6th at Daytona. He couldn't let Wayne outdo him.
No, I guess not. Wayne will be back in the car in July, and then Max will have it in Atlanta.
Halfway.
That's right. 2 out of 4. Steve Kinser, will his luck turn around? It's got to.
Got to. Don't use the word turn.
I didn't say over, just around. NASCAR Live coming up next, and trackside later. Tonight live from Texas Motor Speedway. 2 rounds complete in Crown Royal IROC 30. A great run for Tony Stewart, who's a winner in Texas at last. For Matt Yoakum, Jeff Hammond, and Larry Mack, I'm Mike Joy. So long from Texas.
Thank you very much. I didn't know actually where to go, and been lucky being together with good guys, and I was trying to figure out what to do, learning from, you know, real time from these big champions.
Now, that one time, I want to know, you get a little nervous? You know, you got the car completely sideways out there on the racetrack. Everybody in the grandstands went, whoa!
I don't know. I've been lucky. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, really.
You still speechless from it, huh?
Yes, well, I have to thank Spondy because they're giving me a car to drifting when I'm back home. So that's a kind of good experience and learning.
There you go. Thanks, Max. Appreciate it. They call him Max the Axe, and he's talking about drifting. He gets in the drifter cars and gets some experience that way. Did you get any drifting experience out there?
I got a lot of drifting experience. You know, the car ran really good. It just tight all day long and shattered the right front tire, and I just couldn't make a turn. And the older the tires got, the worse it got. And they get all bunched up, and I could catch back up and get in there and battle a little bit. But it was a lot of fun. Max made some great saves, and I had it sideways 3 or 4 times too. I think the wind was kind of blowing us around, but what a great race. I'm sure the fans really enjoyed it, and dang on old Tony went out and won that thing, didn't he?
Would you have climbed the fence?
They told me I ought to go over and try to pull him down off the fence, but I said by the time I get over, I'd probably pass out, so I thought I'd better not do that.
And next week, you're going to see this cat live on Speed Channel as the ARCA Remax Series heads to the Nashville Super Speedway.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. So Tony Stewart wins the race. Big crowd on hand here outside the Texas Motor Speedway. Side down for the 2nd time in 2 IROC races we'll talk about, also known as trackside. Now, before the race, Ted Musgrave said, I'm sure the fans are going to get their money's worth. He said, from my point of view, it's going to be a great race. John Roberts talked to him afterwards.
Hey, you know, Steve, the fans definitely did get their money's worth with all of the lead changes, but we were talking about your perspective on the race just a second ago, Ted. You had a wild look at that wild ride that Steve Kinser went on.
Twice. You talk about Daytona or here?
Yeah, instant replay.
Yeah, I got the best seat in the house. You know, my car was so tight it wouldn't run. And, you know, I was following Mark there for a while, but then, you know, like I say, it just got tighter. But anyway, yeah, it put me near in the back there, but, you know, it's crazy back there. And I said to myself, well, I'm just going to find myself a nice little spot to watch the action, and I sure did. And watching him flying through there, I'm just glad to see he's all right. I never seen a guy with so much bad luck in my life in the IROC series, so I don't know, maybe, hopefully he doesn't go on his roof down there in the road course.
Now, from the fans' perspective, with all the lead changes towards the end of this race, it was really spectacular from the stands. Now, from your point of view in the seat from the back there, could you guys make the kind of moves you want to make?
Not one I had. You know, like I say, when they make them real tight, you know, it just all depends what car you get and what tires you get. It makes a big difference. But, you know, it's like I say, they were getting pretty crazy up there. I know it's not my vehicle, but I tried to take care of it a little bit. And like I say, I didn't have a winning car, and it doesn't make it. If you don't win, it ain't going to make no difference anyway. So I brought it home in one piece, and it's not on fire like at Daytona, so we're in good shape.
Ted, thanks a lot. Let's go to Bob Dillner.
Well, we are just outside of victory lane. Tony Stewart still celebrating inside there. His first victory at the Texas Motor Speedway coming in the IROC Series. He's very happy, but a lot of his fans are as well. And let me tell you something. There are some big-time fans here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Robin and Julie here are from nearby, actually from the Fort Worth area here. And
of Cheever's car, and it is difficult, Dorsey. You said it is flat out, and it is a pretty tight bend in the road there, and you saw Burke trying to get out of the way.
And with oil, remember, he's got oil coming out of the back of the thing that was on fire for a while. Cheever tried to pinch to the inside. You can't see through the corner. It's flat out, but when you come around and there's somebody there, nothing you can do.
10 to pit road, Calvin.
Jan Magnussen jumps out, and it's going to be Max Angelelli. He had a great run last night in the IROC Ross at Texas, finishing 6th. This looks like routine stuff here. We expected everyone to pit as soon as it went yellow, so this should be normal routine stuff. Chris Neville.
Cal, also the Comp USA machine in, and Luis Diaz handing over to Scott Pruitt. This team looking to have a very quick stop here. So you've already got their fuel done, just finishing up tires. Scott Pruitt already have his belt done. So these boys think they can make it. They got their 15 minutes out on the racetrack. They should be good to go the rest of the way.
And these stops are going to be short stops because they haven't used much fuel, so it's not going to take long to fill these cars, Dorsey. Really, the driver change right now may be what takes the longest.
14 to 20 seconds on that driver change if you're really good. Some of them take longer than that. Depends on what the size of the driver getting in versus out is. But that's a pretty long time if you're not doing anything else.
12 car on pit road, Chris.
Yeah, Brian, you can see a lot of damage up on this left front corner of the Lowe's machine. Adrian Fernandez already behind the wheel, but the team is going to spend some time on this corner. It looks like there might be some suspension damage there, so they're going to try and get Adrian out of the racetrack and see if this car is still capable of running. But this is one of the machines that took a big hit out there, and you can see Adrian getting out in front of the pace car, trying not to go down a lap.
It was really that battle for fifth that had all those cars in it, the 39, the 89, the 12. It'd be interesting to see if the 89 car has damage to it as well, because they were all running in pretty close order there. The cars are going to be led down pit road by the pace car, it looks like, to avoid all of the debris on the front straightaway. Chris.
Yeah, Brian, the Crown Royal machine just coming to pit lane. I have a feeling that these boys are definitely done. Major damage to this left front corner, missing the windshield. Suspension just really hanging on by not a whole lot here. Everything bent up, and Eddie Cheever getting out of this car. He is not happy. Cal?
Well, Mike Shank has now brought his two race cars in. There's going to be Mark Patterson jumping out and Osvaldo Negri. He has experience here in 1997 in Indy Lights. I expect Oz to have a great run here this afternoon. Right behind him is the number 6 Braden Elliott machine. Court Wagner, he's been drafted in to replace Kenny Wilden. Now it's going to be Mike Borkowski getting behind the wheel. He's really the team leader here. See a few grazes on the bodywork. Already these boys have been touching cars, touching walls. Looks like routine stuff for Mike Shank and his crew.
Here's the deal, Dorsey. It is a sprint race. Like we said, 90 minutes. All of these cars should be good to go to the end. So now it's like a Trans Am race. You're used to that.
It's starting all over. They got a big cleanup to do on this front straightaway. You see all the debris over there. We'll take some looks at what happened here. A lot of replays to show you. It's not pretty. There's the wounded car, the Frizzell car, leaking oil, had a little fire. He's trying to get out of the way. There's Cheever up the inside, spins him. He gets collected then by the 99. Now there's nowhere to go for anybody. Take a look at this view. There's a tire. Oh, huge hit.
Impact by the 99.
Slams
into
the wall.
It looks like the 89 car managed to get through unscathed. He's right there behind the damaged Lowe's machine. But you see Frizzell, and he really has nowhere to go. And right here, it looks like the car makes a pretty abrupt move to the right.
Well, he was trying to get offline, knowing those guys were coming. Boy, and that hit by Moran just tears the front end off and it slams the wall. Now the next cars have nowhere to go.
Huge impact down there. We've chronicled that. Let's check in with Calvin.
There in the Synergy Racing team, Gary Grossenbagger on the radio too. What was the situation? Is he okay, most importantly?
Yeah, he's okay. He's out of the car. I know he's shook up, but he is okay. Situation is we broke a gearbox, and I think the 99 might have got a little bit of oil. And when that happened, he lost control and got into us. It was a big wreck, unfortunately.
Okay, well, hopefully everyone's going to get out of this one okay. Very scary stuff indeed, Brian.
Very frightening, Calvin, as you say, and I feel so bad for the Frizzells. They've had bad luck all season long. They had gearbox issues in practice and qualifying. It looks like they have reared their ugly head once again. While the crews clean up the beach, we'll take this time to do some business, and we'll come back to Long Beach and the Rolex Sports Car Series.